I just want you to be aware that I'm going through something and I sincerely want to feel better. Hey everyone, it's Natalie. Welcome back to my channel for another video. So today I'm doing a more casual style Q&A. I am just sitting here at my desk and you are on top of a water bottle right now, actually. But I poured myself a cup of tea, the Trader Joe's ginger turmeric herbal tea, and my sister Sarah gave this to me. I reorganized my coffee station. If you guys missed that video, I'll have it linked below, and I came across this tea that Sarah gave me and I've now been trying it and I love it so much. I've got a little bit of Manuka honey in there and it's just what my sore throat needs on a fall day. So I went on Instagram yesterday, shared with you how bad my day was going yesterday and the frustrations I was facing, and then I asked you guys for Q&A questions. And if you are not following me yet on Instagram, I will leave all of that information in the description box. It's just at Natalie Bennett Vlogs, and I share pictures of the kiddos and my life, and usually if I have something to say, that's the first place I go. So life updates and whatever, and usually that's where I ask for Q&A questions. So I don't want this just to be a one-sided conversation. I want to get to know you a little bit better. Lately there have been a lot more subscribers here on this channel, which I'm so thankful for, but there's a lot of new faces and I want to meet you guys. So even if you've introduced yourself before, feel free to just say hello in the comments, introduce yourself, let me know who you are, and when this video goes up, I will be responding to comments right away and getting to know you guys a little bit better too. But let's get started. This person said, I know you love coffee, as do I. Do you do anything special to keep your teeth so white? Love your videos and your vlogs. That's so sweet. So I think the thing that I do to keep my teeth so white is I brush my teeth probably 3 times a day. I brush my teeth first thing in the morning when I get up. It's just a habit that I have, and then first thing after I have my morning cup of coffee. It's not necessarily to keep my teeth white. Honestly, I hate coffee breath and I hate the feeling of my mouth after I've had coffee. It's probably because of the dairy in my coffee, and so I always brush my teeth right after I have my coffee, and then usually once before bed. Sometimes there's a 4th time during the day that I brush my teeth again, and that's if I have a second cup of coffee, like in the afternoon. But it's just habit. Once I drink coffee, I brush my teeth. This person asks, when did you start using the Leapfrog with your boys? Love your family. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you. So we have actually enjoyed, well, actually, let's go way back. When I was a kid, I had a few different Leapfrog brand toys. I had like this world globe that I loved that had a pen and you could touch the different countries and states and learn a bunch of stuff, and there was games, and that was literally my favorite toy ever. We had a different little like math twister game that we had, and then as a parent, I've purchased VTech, which is actually the same brand as Leapfrog. I've purchased VTech and Leapfrog toys for my kids ever since they were babies. But I assume you're talking about the Leap Start or the Leap Pads. So the Leap Pads were a birthday gift for the boys when they turned 4, and then a few weeks later we got the Leap Starts for the boys that were sent to us by VTech for a brand deal that we were doing over on our vlog channel. And so we started them with our boys around the age of 4, but as we've gotten to know both the Leap Pads and the Leap Starts, they are definitely suited for kids, I would say like 2.5 or 3 and up. And both of them I think go to around 6 or 7 years old. So it's definitely a great learning system, or like a learning toy for kids for a few years. Like that's a really long time for a toy to last in a kid's life and to be usable. And so that's one of the reasons I love Leapfrog so much. Are you going to use a boxed curriculum this coming year? If so, do you have any idea of what you may like? You go, mama. This is crazy hard, but you've got this. Love from Ireland. So this year we're not using a box curriculum or anything in particular when it comes to like the scope and sequence of what we're doing for homeschooling. This year it's much more free-formed, especially since the boys are attending a preschool class a couple of times a week in the morning. But looking forward, one of the curriculums that is my favorite, it's something that I grew up with, is the Accelerated Christian Education curriculum. I hope they're still around. I'm pretty sure they are, because they were so formative for my education as a kid. Abeka is another Christian curriculum that I highly recommend and will definitely be using for my kids. But at this point, the boys are just working through this little preschool book by highlights, and then bringing a Christian element into it. We read through their little like kids Bible. We listen to some like kids praise music, and then we have like memory verses and stuff that we do. But there's no real plan to it at this point. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I want to do a homeschool routine video for you guys, showing some of the stuff that I love and showing how a typical homeschool morning goes for us, but there isn't much of a routine to it, just because I'm just kind of going as we go, and every day is a little bit different. As far as like a boxed set or a curriculum or whatever, definitely Accelerated Christian Education. That's a really, really good curriculum. Have you and Weston ever had a fight? Love watching your videos. If you answer this question and say you have, I will be very surprised. Yes, of course, Weston and I have had fights, and they used to happen more often than they do nowadays, which I think him and I have really learned how to communicate with each other a lot better. I think maturity plays a huge role in that, but I also think just time spent with each other as the years go on. We really understand each other a lot. But it doesn't mean that we don't fight nowadays. And by fight, I mean we don't really have like screaming, yelling fights with each other, because that's not really our style. I think people can have yelling fights and have it be something that's healthy, because it's good to express yourself. Of course, everyone is different, but Weston and I, we just get really pissy with each other, and we get really snarky with each other, and then that kind of turns into more of a fight. But Weston and I have learned, and this is actually something that our pastor taught us when we were getting our premarital counseling, it is HALT. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Or am I tired? And that, when you stop and think about that, or when you halt and think about that acronym, it can actually bring to light some other things that may be happening in your day that would cause you to feel this way toward the other person. So that definitely helps. And usually when I'm being angry and pissy, it's because I'm hungry. I get hangry. I really get hangry. So that's something that I have to be careful about. And I think that's the main reason why I'm not a morning person. I wake up really hungry, and usually I wake up pretty grumpy. What is your favorite thing about each of your children? I love this question. This is so sweet. I love being able to brag on my kids and talk about them. So my favorite thing about Liam, let's go oldest to youngest. My favorite thing about Liam is that he is really in tune with the people around him. He really pays attention to the emotion, like he reads the room basically, and he's really good at seeing like a negative situation and encouraging you. So of course he's seen me upset and angry or sad or mad or whatever, and he is always the one to like run up to me and say, "It's okay, Mom, don't worry," or "Why are you crying, Mom?" or "Can I get something for you?" or "Do you feel sick?" And he's just this little empath. Like, I think that term is way overused nowadays, but I definitely think Liam fits into that sort of personality where you could call him someone who's an empath. So something that I love about Judah is the fact that he is so clever and he's super smart. He has kind of a dry sense of humor, and he always comes up with jokes or little witty things to say that remind me a lot of my brother Luke, actually. My brother is 15 years old, and he takes care of the kids once a week or so for a few hours while I get some business work done. And so I think some of Luke's personality has rubbed off on Judah, and it's really fun to see Judah be he's just like a smarty pants, and I love that. I love that so much, and he's always asking for more information. He's always asking questions. He wants to know more and more and more about whatever it is that we're talking about. And that's where I have to exercise patience sometimes, because some days the constant barrage of questions from the 4-year-old just grate on my nerves. And I have to really just see that as a blessing. Like, man, he has such a curious mind, and what a blessing that is, that he just wants to know, and he really is hungry for knowledge and information. And that's actually a lot like I am. And so I need to see the blessing in that situation and encourage him in his quest for knowledge. I just wonder how he'll be in school when he's older. I'm really curious about that. My favorite thing about Haley is that she just loves mama. She's a mama's girl, and she wants to be right next to me, and she wants to do what I do and grab my makeup or grab my phone or just get right up in what I'm doing when I'm cooking or cleaning or whatever, and she wants to help out or experience what it is that I'm doing. And that's how I was with my mom. And so it's just sweet to have my little buddy, my little girlfriend, hanging out with me, and she just really loves to be with mom. And I'll add, she's like Judah in this goofy little kind of twisted sense of humor that she has. Weston and I always talk about the fact that she is pretty mature in her sense of humor for what we would typically expect for an 18-month-old. She cracks little jokes or laughs at things that I didn't even think that she would understand. And it's obvious that she understands like dry humor and sarcasm, and it's really fun to watch. Ashley says, I feel you on the crazy week. Yes, it's been a crazy week. Are you still working out? How is it going? Working out. You guys know that I love Moms into Fitness, and they really helped, some of their workouts really helped me with my diastasis recti, and I was really enjoying having a regular workout routine and a schedule that I was sticking to, and I was seeing results. I loved working out. That's something that I've never been able to say, and I do miss it. But over the summertime, you guys know that I was dealing with a lot of health issues and a lot of chronic pain, and I found myself not being able to work out, not having the desire or the energy, and because I was so physically ill all the time, throwing up on the toilet all the time, I didn't have the physical energy to even attempt a workout. I was very physically weak and really down on my weight. And actually, I'm gonna segue this into some other questions that I've been getting. Lots and lots of questions from you guys. You are so sweet, asking how my health is and how I'm doing, my physical health as well as my mental health. And I know I wasn't able to talk about it in the baby update because it would have made that video way longer than it needed to be. But I do have an update for you guys. So physically, I am doing much better, and I have actually been going through this protocol for people who have what's called a hiatal hernia. Now, I have not been officially diagnosed with a hiatal hernia, but after doing lots of diagnostic testing, we did blood samples, stool samples, I took an H. pylori bacteria test. What else did we do? I've done ultrasounds, I've been tested for celiacs, for Crohn's, they've done a bunch of urine cultures, and everything is coming back as totally normal. So my doctor thought that what I may be dealing with, just based on my history and the symptoms that I was explaining, she thought that I was possibly dealing with a hiatal hernia, which is basically, and it happens to people who've been pregnant, especially if you have a smaller frame, especially if you've had like a multiples pregnancy, like twins or more, where part of the esophagus, like the top part of the stomach, esophagus area, gets pushed up through the diaphragm, which is a thing that's supposed to keep everything down. And when a little part of that comes up through your diaphragm, it can cause all sorts of digestive issues and chronic pain. And so she taught me some like actual like physical therapy sort of exercises to do, and things that I can do like right after I've eaten to ensure that that part of my stomach stays below my diaphragm. And I've been implementing those things as if I've been diagnosed with a hiatal hernia, and I have had pretty much no more stomach aches. Diagnostic imaging is expensive. It's sometimes painful, it's time consuming, it's just another thing that I have to go out and do. And honestly, Haley's eyes and the whole vision issue and everything that we were going through and all of the appointments for that really were on the forefront. It was just something that we had to tackle, figure out, get through. And because I was feeling so much better, my physical health was not at the front of my mind. I wasn't thinking, I gotta get a test, you know, like a hiatal hernia diagnostic imaging test on the schedule because I'm in so much misery. I've got to get this figured out. I was actually doing way better. So at this point, I'm feeling a lot better, and I do want to get into working out. Going back to that earlier question, I have been doing a little bit more of workouts, but haven't gotten back into a consistent schedule because life on YouTube's end of things has been pretty crazy and taking up a lot of my time. But I do want to get back into doing that now that I am feeling a lot better physically. As far as my mental health goes, I do believe that my physical health, especially since it deals with my gut health, that it really played a role like hand in hand with my mental health. And when I was having a really bad physical health day where I was vomiting and on the toilet and just weak, so weak, I also felt really depressed. And I was also dealing with postpartum hormones at the same time. So I definitely see a correlation with a bad mental health day and a bad physical health day. And as my physical health has gotten better, my mental health has definitely improved. But there are still days that I have really tough mental health days. And I have now seen a pattern, now that I've been physically better for so many months on end, I have now seen a pattern of my mental health coinciding with my menstrual cycle. There's a history in my family of difficult PMS times. That window of time in my life is really intense for me. It's called PMDD, called premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It affects millions of women in their reproductive years. For women with PMDD, emotional symptoms like severe depression, irritability, and anxiety profoundly interfere with their lives during the second half of the menstrual cycle. That sounds like me to a T. For part of my menstrual cycle, I am happy and carefree and so grounded in my emotions and in my mental health. And then for the other half of it, I am just a wigged out, emotional, depressed, very anxious, angry person. And I do not want to be that person. It affects my friendships, it affects my marriage, it affects my experience as a mom. I know it affects my kids, and I don't think that I'm a danger to anyone, you know, because I don't act out physically, or a danger to myself. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm, you know, pose any sort of threat to myself. But I get pretty miserable, and I have so much to be thankful for. Obviously, I have a beautiful, wonderful life, and I get to certain points in the month, and it's very cyclical. It literally coincides exactly with what I'm going through in my menstrual cycle. And so I do believe that any mental health issues that I deal with are linked to hormonal stuff, and I definitely am going to be seeking some help for that, because I'm at the point now where I feel like I'm in tune enough with this cycle and what I've been seeing myself go through that I am able to verbalize what I'm going through to a professional. If any of you are going through mental health issues, postpartum depression, depression in general, anything that you feel like is not right in your emotions and in your mind, then I absolutely recommend that you seek professional help. Mental health is something that is very important, and it's not only important to seek professional help, but to also let your loved ones, the people that you trust, the people who are closest to you, let them in on what's going on. Even if you can't fully express it, just say, there's something wrong. I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong, and I just need either your support or your prayers. If you're someone who prays, I just want you to be aware that I'm going through something and I sincerely want to feel better. I had to throw a new battery into this camera. It is not used to sitting there for 35 minutes while I jabber at it. But I think that's all we have time for today. I just put the new battery in to say Thank you all for your questions, and thank you so much for your care and concern about my mental and physical health. That's the update for now. Of course, if my physical health starts to take a turn for the worse, then I'm definitely in a good relationship with my doctor where I feel like my history with her is enough that she can point me in the right direction and we can start, you know, figuring some other stuff out. But I'm feeling fine. But as far as my mental health and like hormonal health goes, I definitely need some help in that area, and I am seeking it out. Thank you all for the love and the prayers and the support, and for asking me questions for today's video. Again, don't forget to let me know a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself in the comments, and I'll be chatting with you. Actually, the best time to comment on one of my videos, honestly, is right when it goes up. So you'll want to turn on your bell notifications, set it to send me all notifications so that you see when I post a new video, because that is when I'm most likely to chat with you guys in the comments and get to know you guys a little bit better. But thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and happy November. This is like my favorite month ever, and I'm so excited for some holiday themed videos coming up soon. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you later.